Greetings from Australia. Penguins are one of the most iconic wild animals, with similar appeal to polar bears, humpback whales, and giant pandas. Flightless and slow on land, they are gracious and agile in the ocean. Despite their public appeal, penguin populations face a wide range of threats. Today, I'm talking on behalf of the IUCN Penguin Specialist Group and telling you about our progress towards a global penguin conservation agenda. There are 18 species of penguins, all breeding on the southern hemisphere. They come in different colors, as long as they are black and white, with a bit of yellow on the head. There are no words that make justice to describe these beautiful seabirds. So I leave you in peace to make acquaintance with all the 18 species. And to go against the trend, we have a blue penguin. Cute and charismatic, I know, but penguins are in trouble. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN, lists 10 out of the 18 species as threatened, making penguins the second most threatened family of seabirds after albatrosses. In the last 35 years, the number of endangered species increased, with a decrease in the last concern. And all this is happening under our watch. This trouble trend is the main force behind creating a penguin specialist group under the IUCN. Our vision is wild penguins in perpetuity, with a mission to provide scientific advice that informs policy and engages people in effective conservation action. These are the main goals of our group. Contribute to international conventions such as CITES to prevent penguin poaching. Identify management actions and studies for species at risk, critical areas, or threats to penguins. Provide scientific advice on conservation and management issues concerning penguins, and coordinate input from penguin experts for the IUCN Red List assessments. Since 2016, the Penguin Specialist Group has been coordinating the threatened status for the IUCN Red List assessment based on penguin population data and conservation needs from its members. Good news first, the population of 3 species were increasing and 3 stable. The very bad news is 12 populations of penguins were decreasing. The 2020 assessment brought some good news. The population of 3 species of penguins, Adelie, Gentoo, and little penguins, are doing better at global level than in previous assessment. The IUCN develops a world conservation agenda. To follow suit, the Penguin Specialist Group is developing a penguin global conservation agenda as well. We have run a couple of workshops with the steering committee to looking at penguins' species of most urgent conservation needs and identify gaps in penguin research and conservation of these species. We developed some criteria to identify the species at risks. It's a matrix of policy, science, population size, and population in declining. 3 species were voted without opposition as international priorities. The global population of African penguins has around 25,000 pairs, a decrease from over 1.5 million pairs 100 years ago. This fast decline of African penguins population is primarily caused by fewer prey due to climate change and fisheries competition, oil pollution from spills and ship-to-ship bulkering, predation. Fisheries are in direct competition with penguins. There is an urgent need for an ecosystem-based approach to fisheries management. The Galapagos penguins is the rarest penguin species. Its population undergoes extreme fluctuations. This population is threatened by severe and frequent El Niño events, resulting in adult mortality and breeding failure. The population recovery is limited by the presence of invasive predators and low-quality nest sites. So the pressing issue at Galapagos is to improve and enforce fisheries management. Astonishing, only 1% or less than that of Galapagos marine reserve is close to fisheries. The third species at risk is the yellow-eye penguins in New Zealand. The total population is around 1,700 pairs. The steep declines of the mainland population are due to a series of problems such as introduced predators, disease, environmental changes, and interactions with fisheries. The highest priority for these species is to develop effective marine spatial planning and tourism planning around breeding grounds. Among seabirds, penguins are probably one of the most studied group, but science has not always been translated into effective conservation. The penguin specialist group has discussed an overall strategy to improve the translation of science into conservation. The science community and funding agencies must recognize the importance of long-term research on these long-lived species. Conservation of penguins must expand to include the non-breeding season and juvenile stages. We need to understand how some species have low juvenile survival rates, which can be a strong driver of population decline. Marine reserves must be designed at proper spatial scales. Penguins see no borders, so shouldn't conservation. Bridge the gap in communication between scientists and decision makers. The Penguin Specialist Group is here to help individual scientists like yourself, species conservation plans, and international working groups to have effective conservation action. Conserving penguins will require creativity, collaboration, and commitment in our society. As a group, we have identified research and conservation priorities. Penguins have been around for a long time, over 60 million years. Yet, the biggest challenge is to have zero extinction in the next 50 years. I'll leave you with this thought from a penguin philosopher from New Zealand. Saving penguins is not really about saving penguins. It's about saving every living thing, all of us. Thanks for watching, and I'm happy to take questions.